What should be included in a cleaning checklist? Today I'm going to share with you how you can power up your cleaning checklist for more reliable and consistent cleaning services. Marty here, founder and CEO of Freshops, where we help cleaning business owners grow and scale by streamlining their day-to-day operations. Now, if you're looking to develop cleaning checklists or you already have cleaning checklists in place, today I'm going to help you understand not only the importance of a cleaning checklist, but go through some key types of tasks that we want to include in those particular checklists. Consistency of cleaning service delivery is one of the hardest things to master inside the cleaning industry. We have a very transient workforce, so our cleaners and our workers are coming and going. So trying to maintain consistency at contracts that you may had for years and years and years is always one of the uphill barriers that many cleaning business owners have. Now, today what I'm going to do is I'm going to share with you how we take just the normal scope of works, the type that we would submit to a client, and how we actually power that up to deliver more reliable and consistent cleaning services. At times we can get pulled into a bit of false sense of security sometimes when we have a couple of really good cleaners in place, and we tend to stop developing systems and processes because these cleaners just do what we ask. But we know that that's not a forever solution, and those perfect cleaners that we've got inside our businesses that have got an eye for detail and are really proactive with client reporting and communication and really go above and beyond, they are a bit of a, they're not really a dime a dozen. They're quite precious, and we can get lulled into building a business just off these people. But we know, in times like when we've got a pandemic at the moment, that these people sometimes leave, or they simply retire, and we're left then holding the ball with these contracts where that employee has learnt some information and now has taken all that with them. Now, And the problem with that also is that doesn't really scale. That really is just a very isolated, well, I've got this contract over here that I'm very happy with because I've got a perfect cleaner here, but over here I've got a contract that I've consistently got problems with because I don't necessarily have the best cleaner on site and he forgets stuff. So rather than create, generic cleaning checklists, which are great for clients, they're very, very specific, they're very, very simple, and they do the job. But when it comes to cleaning service delivery, we all know that there's more to just cleaning a bathroom than just saying cleaning sinks. We know that there's more than cleaning a toilet than just saying cleaning a toilet. And so we want to be able to create more detailed scope. At the same time, we don't want to be micromanaging our workforce as well. So we don't necessarily want to pull out every single line item that we want them to have. And so I think there should be task lists with three main categories. And these categories are, firstly, the most complained about items, our periodical items, and my favorite, which is my LOE tasks. Okay, now it's not the sexiest name, but stick around to learn exactly what LOE tasks are and how they can help you scale and grow your business. Now, most complained about, if you've got a new client, often the first thing that you're doing is you're speaking to them and you're identifying, yes, the scope of works and all the things that you want to do, but we should definitely be asking them, but what is the current contractor not doing to your standard? And so they're the kind of things that, while you might shrug it off and say, well, look, my workers wouldn't miss that, business is all about removing risk. And so we would definitely want to make sure by de-risking our business that we capture all of those things that have been complained about and make sure we highlight it for the cleaner, the new cleaner, whether it's an experienced cleaner or all the consecutive cleaners that we're going to have in this contract, so that they're all aware of those things that client was specifically unhappy about with the previous contractor. Now, if it's an existing site, okay, that you're setting this up for now, then I want you to think back to what are the most complained about items, right? What are the problems that we just, they just come up again and again and again and again. In my experience, it was things like, cleaners sometimes not mopping behind doors, or it may have just been not pulling out bins and vacuuming under bins. And it was all of these little things that we would get complaints about. And often we would just communicate it with the cleaner, tell him to fix it, and then hope he remembers that, going forward. But no, those should be the 10, 15 items that we should include in our cleaning checklist to make sure that our cleaners learn, and then the next cleaner comes in, has that on the list, because they're items that we need to continue to deliver for consistency. Now, if you're one of those clients that doesn't have any of those, you're very well done to start with, but more importantly, you're probably doing some kind of site inspections. And so even when we're doing a site inspection, we're always looking for something that we can value add or go above and beyond for that client. So in that case, you want to be putting together that 5 or 10 tasks that are super important, that exceeds that client's expectation, that then new cleaners come in, they can see that these are very important, they're way above the scope, but highlight them in such a way that they can see them as well. The next is your periodical items, right? I think it's very naive to think that the cleaners can remember every single task that they need to do over a whole month, right? Particularly if they're looking after multiple sites. It's not uncommon in cleaning for us to have a cleaner to go from one site to another, and we have some services or some tasks that are done every day. We have some that are done once a week. We've got some that are done once a month. And so it's it is a little bit naive to think that the cleaner can remember all of those off the top of your head. I can't remember what I had for breakfast this morning, let alone when the last time I did cobwebbing at a site was, particularly if it's maybe a monthly task. But telling them, for example, that the front door glass, maybe we do that once a week, weekly isn't sufficient. Okay, we need to be very, very specific on when in the week that we want that cleaner to do that work. Whether it's a monthly item, maybe it's cobwebbing. We don't just say cobweb monthly. We need to be able to say specifically to the cleaner, what day of the month do you want that cobwebbing done? Now that has 2 benefits. It creates, there's no chance the cleaner's ever going to forget, because there's a very specific day that we want it done, and they'll form into that habit of doing that on that particular day if we enforce it on them and make sure that they're aware of it. It means that we also know when these periodical items are being done as a business owner, but more so it creates some consistency in the client's mind. And when you're delivering that consistency of all those periodical items across the month, it really builds a lot of trust with the client, because they can trust the fact that you deliver on your cleaning services. And after spending 20 years in the cleaning industry and 15 running my own business, whenever we brought up one new contract, a lot of the time it was because periodical items were being missed by the previous cleaning contractor. Whether they were just periodical items that were done once a month, or they were things like external window cleans that may have been scheduled in every 3 months, or they're supposed to do a carpet clean every 6 months, or whatever those things are. Sometimes it was those kind of periodical items that they forgot. But for your cleaning teams in particular, it's a thing like that fridge clean, or it's that cobwebbing, or it's the dusting the chair legs, or those kind of items that we need to lock in with a very, very specific day of the month and have that consistently happen month in, month out, right? And then that also means as the new cleaner comes in, they just continue the work at that consistency. Now, the final task type is my LOE tasks. And after you've had a client for a while, the supervisor, yourself and the cleaner actually develop what we kind of call, or what I kind of think of as a bit of intellectual property around that site. And what we develop is a whole bunch of processes, or we learn all the pet hates and the peeves and the procedures that we need to do, that we learn over a long period of time, and based on a little bit of experience on that particular site. So LOE tasks are basically the pet peeves, the pet hates, the specific requests and processes and procedures that our cleaners perform that are being done because they have been learnt, this is my acronym, learnt over time and through experience, okay? So when we start a cleaning contract, we actually don't have any LOE. We don't know how that floor is going to soil regularly. We don't know the little tricks that other cleaners may have done to keep a particular area clean or what rhythm to keep that at. So all we know is often what the client tells us. And they aren't entirely across all the processes that are required to keep a facility clean and healthy. And that's perfectly okay because that's what they hire a professional cleaning company for. But we need to capture these LOE things. And for most cleaning businesses, this intellectual property is actually secure, but it's actually secured and captured in the minds of the current cleaners or the existing supervisor or manager. And therein lies, I guess, the problem. We mentioned before that it is one of the most transient industries in the world. So when you've got people coming in, coming out, and every little bit of knowledge that someone learnt about a particular site after 3 or 4 years cleaning it gets lost when that cleaner leaves, that's a bit of an operational nightmare for you as a cleaning business owner. And you've only got to have the perfect storm between, over a period of time, you have a couple of cleaners leave and a supervisor leave, and all that knowledge is actually gone. And we've all experienced it when we've had a new cleaner on site and the client rings up and says to us, oh, did we get a new cleaner on site? And you're like, oh, yes. And they go, why is that? And they go, oh, well, the old cleaner used to do X, Y, Z, and we noticed that it hasn't been done, right? And when you've had a contract for some time, those cleaners learn lots of X, Y, Zs. They could learn the whole alphabet of different specific things that they've learnt to keep that customer happy and a raving fan of your service. So we want to be able to, capture that stuff. So there you go. There's some items that'll help you power up your cleaning checklist, and more specifically, ones that will also improve your service delivery and outcomes as well. So do it now. Add the most complained about items so that you can ensure that you deliver the work and don't disappoint that new client, or if it's an existing client, make sure that is added to the scope of works. Those periodical items, because we all forget stuff. That's why we've got daily checklists. If you're in the office, we scratch down all the things that we need to do a day. To give the cleaners the reminders that they need to do that stuff across the day, and maybe remove all of the stuff off that checklist that they just do day in, day out, and you never have any complaints with, because that's providing little or no value. And we've seen that when we've seen the checklist go from tick boxes to dashes, because they're just completely checking out of tasks that they do every day. And then thirdly, it's those tasks, or those pet hates, those peeves, those little tricks that we learn across a long period of time, or maybe not even a long period of time. Maybe it's that stuff that you learn in that first 3 or 4 months with that contract that we need to be able to capture, so that when our workforce changes and our supervisors or our employees leave, we've got that captured to hand on to the next employees that come into our business. Now, lastly, you recall I mentioned that I'd come up with that name of being the learned over time and experienced tasks, the LOE tasks. I'm not really a fan of it so far, but I think the fundamentals part of that task is important. I'd love to hear your comments if you've got names for those kind of tasks that you use in your existing business, something catchy that as an industry we can probably grab hold of and start naming those kind of things so that they can appear as on checklists moving forward. Now, if you'd also like to learn how FreshOps can help you grow and scale your cleaning business by delivering your cleaning checklist to your team in the field and also have them verify its completion, then book a demo with one of our sales team today.